welcome to Letterboxd Book Club. My name is Claire.
And I'm Mackenzie.
And today we will be discussing Sarah J. Maas's House of Earth and Blood, also known as Crescent City 1. It's a doozy. It is a doozy. The beginning of her next series.
It's a big boy.
Very excited to get into it. Just a little disclaimer, this is a second re-record because, of course, a technical difficulty fucked us over. It was primarily my fault, I would say, but...
No, it was my fault.
It was both our faults, initially. I was the reason why your microphone got fucked up, and then...
this is true.
And then your phone just decided to die, or I don't know what you had to do with it, but...
I had to reset my phone for other reasons.
And you lost it.
And I lost everything because I'm an idiot!
Oh well. The lessons we learn along the way.
Yes. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey.
Exactly. Alrighty, Kenzie, when you're ready, I'll get you to smash out the blurb, please.
Okay, here we go. Bound by blood, tempted by desire, unleashed by destiny. Bryce Quinlan used to light up Crescent City, partying all night in the clubs where the strict classes of angel, shifter, human, and fae merge into a sea of beautiful bodies. And then a demon murdered her closest friends. 2 years later, when the supposed killer is behind bars but the crimes start up again, the city's leaders command Bryce to investigate. They assign an enslaved fallen angel, Hunter Athalar, to make sure she does. But as Bryce fights to uncover the truth and resist her attraction to the brooding angel who shadows her every step, she finds herself following a trail that leads deep into her own dark past.
We love that.
We stan.
We stan. Thoughts, feelings, emotions, Kenzie. Without obviously getting too much into it for the moment. I know it's always hard. It's always hard.
That's okay. No, but I got good notes. I still have my good notes. So, my thoughts, feelings, and emotions on this book are a little bit of a ramble, but I feel like this is a wonderful, superb introduction to fantasy as a genre if someone is trying to get into fantasy and they're unsure where to go, because I feel like a lot of people think of like Harry Potter or like the Mortal Instruments or things like that when they think about fantasy, or like they think like ACOTAR, which is like very like fae heavy and stuff. So I think this is a wonderful introduction because it is fantasy set in a modern world. So there's angels and fae and shifters and blah blah blah, but there's also cell phones and internet and clubs and alcohol.
You would call it urban fantasy, I would say.
Yes, urban fantasy.
But yeah, no, it's very cool.
Yeah, and there's university and stuff. So I think anyone wanting to try and get into the fantasy world should probably think about giving this guy a chance. She is a big book. She, he, they, them. Yeah. So while I say give it a chance, it is also 804 pages.
don't let the thickness fool you.
Yeah, of small font. I also think though that you and I read books very fast. So like a normal person, take your time, take it all in.
Yep.
Let it really enchant you.
Let it simmer.
Me, smash it out, devour it, gobble gobble.
Good soup.
Good soup. But yeah, and then I'll go into the other stuff when we get into it because it's hard to talk about it objectively right now.
Very good. My thoughts, feelings, emotions. Yeah, I really liked it. I was kind of like smiling a lot through it because at the end of the day, you strip back all the fantasy and it really is just like a buddy cop murder mystery book. And that's,
yeah, for sure.
Like, yes, take back all the layers and that's what it is. I really enjoyed it. I found that I like books where like I'm following a trail, a past person or like, and I don't know, I don't really have to think too much about it and I don't want to, don't have to try and figure everything out on my own. Because like it'll eventually all reveal itself. But yeah, I really liked it. I agree with you with the whole buddy the introduction to like fantasy, or at least urban fantasy. It was very good. I enjoyed it. Although everyone says the first 5 to 6 5 chapters are a bit of a slog.
Yes.
So, a bit of a lore dump. So if you persevere, I guarantee you will just like never put the book down.
Yeah, I will say that, yes, I struggled a little bit in those first few chapters because I was like, what the fuck is going on? Oh, I swore. Oopsies.
You're acting as if we haven't sworn on this podcast.
I know, but so, I was like, what is going on? Blah, blah, blah. I really enjoyed as well, because I'm a bit of a theatre kid. No, I really like the sort of like everyman trope, whereas I feel in a lot of other like fantasy books that we've read, James, please don't do that. all that I've read, you know, the main character girl is always like, she's different from the other girls, like she's not like the other girls, or she's starving and poor and meets someone rich. Whereas Bryce is just, you know, living her life. She's fresh out of university. She's described as a curvy girl. She's not starving. She's not skinny, and she owns herself. Like, I really enjoy her. I love her.
Yeah, she really is the definition of a boss ass bitch. We stan. She's unapologetically herself. She takes no bullshit. Though she does make mistakes and everything, which is great because not everyone's perfect. But yeah, she is just an absolute boss. And she doesn't try to please everybody either.
Yeah.
From what I can remember. But yeah. Alrighty, I suppose that's thoughts, feelings, emotions sealed. So just before we get sucked into the plot and anything in particular we want to talk about, I'm just going to do a quick fire of all the characters that we may mention in this podcast, just so we don't have to introduce them every single time.
Yeah, we're just going to say their names because, we're going to mention them. So it's not going to go much into it, just their names. So you're like, oh, I've heard that name before. I'm just going to double check with you that this list is in the right order.
It doesn't have to be in the order.
Okay.
I'm just gonna quick fire. Alrighty. So we have Bryce, we have Hunt, we have Fury, we have Jezebel, we have Tharion, we have the Autumn King, we have Sabine, we have Danica, more importantly, we have Hypaxia, we have Philip Briggs gets a mention, we have the Viper Queen, the River Queen also gets a mention, I believe, Isaiah, Sandriel, Micah. From what I gathered, I think that might be it, but there might be someone I've missed.
Declan, Tristan.
Yep, the Pack of Wolves. But
Leobar.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I suck at this. Alright, and most importantly...
Ruin Dannon, Crown Prince of the Valbaran Fae.
Shout out to Library of Jess on TikTok. Oh, hang on. I don't even know if that's their sound. No, original sound, WHWMEMM12. There we go. Quick shout out. But yeah, Rune Denim.
Rune Dannon.
Love
Daddy.
Daddy Rune. Daddy Denim.
Daddy.
So yeah, alright, and Kenzie is going to lead the way because she's much more concise than me. So take it away, Kenzie.
No! Sorry, my notes in here,
Yeah.
I think, are from Sky and Breath, not Earth and Blood.
Oh no.
No! Apparently, what the fuck? Hang on.
Alright, we're off to a great start. That's okay. So pretty much the story centers around the death of Bryce's friend Danica, and the whole book pretty much follows her trail of her secret life that she has never told Bryce, which reminds me, I kind of love the whole...
Let's go over, it's the death of Danica and her pack.
Yeah, but I'll just quickly, I like the whole, there are two best friend characters. One either like dies or goes missing, and the other one's like, I know every single thing about them, and as you progress through the story, you do in fact not know everything about them, and there's so many secrets and lies, and it's insane. So I love that. It's just Bryce just Pikachu shocked emoji the entire time.
Yeah. I think, though, and I will touch on this in Sky and Breath as well, though, that there's a line between I kept these secrets to keep you safe and I kept these secrets and you knew nothing about me.
Yeah.
Like, and I really struggled with that. And also, like, I found it a bit of a cheap plot device, sorry, Sarah, to be like, oh, it was a secret. Oh, she didn't tell you. Oh, yep.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. Yeah, it's really hard because then you feel like that's all the character is in there for, like, just to keep
and
finding
also
out.
Because so all over TikTok I saw, heard the light it up, bitch, light it up, Danica, like all those audios, and I was like, oh wow, Danica's going to be a really big part of this book. And as we know, I don't read blurbs, so I didn't know from the get-go that she gets murdered.
Well, it doesn't explicitly say at the blurb Danica died, but best friends, like, yeah, you put
and then
two
a
and two
demon
together.
murdered her closest friends.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
you learn, you read the first chapter and then you realise that, oh yeah, Danica's the friend. Anyway.
Yeah. So I thought that there would be a little bit more Danica. Or I thought, because there's like the time jump and stuff, I was like, oh, maybe like the big plot twist is that she isn't actually dead. She's been alive this whole time, just hiding.
Yeah. Boy, were you wrong. Also, yeah, the first few chapters are set 2 years before this whole thing has arisen. So
Yeah.
we'll quickly gloss over that. Like a human, like a terrorist, I guess, Philip Briggs, is being released from prison, and Danica and her pack were the folks who put him behind bars. And so when it came about that the demon had killed Danica and her pack, it is all presumed to be Philip Briggs, while simultaneously a Fey artifact called Luna's Horn was taken from a temple, and so you learn about that early on as well. And then for a while it seemed to have been forgotten about until it's like it was time to put two and two together. Oh, Luna's Horn, and this could all be connected. But yeah, and so now the story is set 2 years after those events, and Bryce is still grieving and like fucked up about it, and poor baby.
Because we'll just quickly go over like the first part. So yeah, she's out partying and she takes a drug called synth. That we later find out is called synth, but she takes a new drug. Let's just correlate it to cocaine or something like that. So she takes a lot of coke, is very messed up on it. I think she like ignores some phone calls from her friends or something because she's out with other friends. Anyway, and so she comes back home and she finds that her friends are murdered, and then the demon is still there and she chases after it. She gets injured. She also saves someone else that we later find out, plot twisty. And so then, yeah, it's 2 years later and she still is injured on her leg because she refused to go and see a med witch, which is like a magical healer, because she wants the reminder that because of her, apparently in her mind, because of her friends are dead.
Yeah, which is very sad and miserable. Like, again, Sarah J. Maas, she's very good at writing characters in such despair and misery, and it's just heartbreaking, and it's just, you just want them all to be happy, but of course.
Yeah.
So what triggers all these events is that Bryce is a suspect for a murder of like a vampire called Tertius Maximus, and because she was the last person to see him alive, and he was killed within the same manner of Danica and the pack, so she is suspect number one. And this is where we kind of meet Hunt and Isaiah and the 33rd Legion, and they're in control of the investigation, also led by an archangel named Micah.
And they are angels themselves.
Yeah, the hierarchy in this society is pretty fucked up because you have the Asteri, who runs the whole joint, and then you got the archangels, in which the Asteri creates, and then below that you got angels, or is it angels and archangels? Archangels.
Archangels first.
Archangels, angels, and then all the veneer, and then pretty much humans. And veneer is just another term for the supernatural folk. And the archangels are pretty much the governors of Crescent City. So yeah, they have to wrangle Bryce in because she's suspect number one, and putting all this bullshit onto her to investigate. But of course, because it's a similar death to like Danica, she feels probably entitled to try and solve it anyway.
But also, again, she is young, under 25, and she's trying to live her life, and they're like, no, actually, it's your job to investigate this.
Yeah, this random 23-year-old fake who has no qualifications at all to lead an investigation. So this is where she's paired up with an angel called Hunt Athalar, or Elathar. Is it Ath or Al?
I say Athalar.
And he obviously doesn't want to work with her because he feels that she's not qualified. So he is set to become her also crime partner, but also bodyguard, in order to make sure nothing happens to her, or make sure she is actually not the perp. And
thus begins the somewhat enemies to lovers.
Yes, for sure. I know I forgot to mention in there like getting to know us thing, but I don't mind like the bodyguard lovers to lovers trope, I guess.
Yeah.
Or like security to lovers. I don't know how to else describe it, but yeah. Although I loved their interactions early on because Hunt just wants to do his job and Bryce is just like, no, I don't want to be involved. But at the same time, pulling a Sarah J. Maas classic, she is thinking of a plan. She is thinking of plans, trying to organize things, and it's great. Also, in the meantime, while all this is happening, there is a very important summit for all the rulers around Crescent City. They all congregate and discuss issues and politics and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm. So that's happening in a couple of weeks or something?
Yeah, or even a month or something. Like, yeah, the time period isn't that great. But, so yeah. And then, so essentially, Bryce was semi-threatened by Rune, but also it was passed on by the Autumn King for her to lie low because she is the Autumn King's daughter, but her and Rune pass off as cousins.
Cousins, yes.
We love a cousins trope in a Sarah J Maas book. We love it.
Like, cousins is allowed.
No. It's not. Faye, if you're Faye, it's probably a different story.
Yeah, let's talk fucking Rowan and Aelin.
Yeah. Or Aiden, do you mean? More so.
No. Yeah, but also Rowan and Aelin are related distantly.
Yeah. And Hunt himself, he obviously has such a miserable backstory. He is a slave to Micah, so he has like a slave tattoo on his wrist. He was involved in an angel rebellion against the Asteri, and they lost, and so as punishment, he is to serve under Micah.
No, until he kills the same... Sorry.
I know, I was kind of leading into it. You know what I mean.
Sorry, you explain it.
And of course, with the summit approaching, Sandriel, who is pretty much Hunt's ex or dead lover's sister, identical sister, is arriving into town, and he is shitting himself, so that's not cool. But yeah, so here comes the entire, like, murder mystery aspect. Like, I love that they just bounce around the place finding clues, and they try and solve this mystery.
I will say, yeah, the plot twists kept on coming,
Yeah, for sure.
and the plot twist kept on hurting.
Yeah, that is very fair.
So we should mention as well that Bryce has a matching tattoo with Danica, and it's written down her back, and it is through love all is possible.
Yep, that is a very much recurring theme throughout the entire book, and I
yes.
feel like an idiot that I didn't figure it out earlier.
Yes, one would call it, as you will, Chekhov's gun.
Yeah, or even just foreshadowing.
So during the book, we find out that Rune is in an arranged marriage. Well, we don't really get introduced to her,
No.
but we do get introduced to a Medwitch.
She's a recurring character throughout the book, and she's only ever referred to as the Medwitch.
Medwitch.
I'm happy that I figured it out. So spoiler alert, we learn it's Hypaxia, which is Rune's betrothed, because the recent witch, her mother died, so she's becoming like the sole leader of the witches, which is fun. And she also ends up helping Bryce as well. She ends up healing her leg, I believe. Yeah, after much pressure into having an appointment. So that's where we find out a lot of information as well about the demon.
Yes. And Rune, what? Is it not Rune? It's Hunt that basically forces her to go to the appointment, yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we love that.
Because at that point, their relationship has developed so much that, like, he's starting to care about her, you know?
Yeah. Is it in this book that it is the wound and the couch?
Oh, wait. I don't know. I don't even remember anymore. I don't think so. I feel like it was in Sky and Breath, because that rings a bell.
No.
No, he does.
No, but it's in this one because then after this they decide, like, oh, let's just take the spring.
Oh, okay.
Or whatever, and then in the next book it's been the spring.
Okay.
Or they're like, I can't wait to spring.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember. It's been a little while now. But anyway, we also learn that this whole demon... Are you doing a rapid test right in front of the...
Yeah.
You're taking a rat right in the potty. It's very nice. Just so the people are aware.
Luke's mum, James is negative. I just did him again. Luke's mum just called and said she just tested positive.
Oh no.
I'm just being safe, so.
Alright.
Sorry.
It just took me a minute to realise what you were doing.
I thought I was going to be real subtle about it.
So, yeah, all good. So after some investigation, Hunt and Bryce figure out that it's a Crystallos demon, and the only way that it could be summoned is through, like, obsidian and black salts, and of course they're quite illegal, and so they go and suss out the Viper Queen, because she is pretty much like the drug cartel of Crescent City.
Yeah, she's like, Jesus Christ. She's like the mafia. Mum. She's like that.
Again, Kinsey is taking a rat test, so...
Yeah, she's like the mafia mummy.
Mafia mummy. I love it. Low key. But it's funny, like, the Viper Queen doesn't really have a proper name. Like...
No, she's just saying with the River Queen.
Yeah, and the River Queen's daughter, and it annoys me so much. And obviously Hunt is very like, this is too dangerous and all that type of stuff. He doesn't want to fuck around with the Viper Queen, but obviously Bryce pulls him along, and they do that, and they learn a lot.
And then they summon Prince of Hell. Prince of Hell.
Prince Adius. Mm-hmm. And we learn a little backstory that Adius has been a part of Bryce's life for a while. He takes the form of a cat when he seeps into this world through the gates and the portals and all that type of stuff. There was a huge theme as well throughout this book about Bryce and her like Fae power, because we learn because we know
she's half Fae.
Half Fae, yeah, and we know Rune, Crown Prince of Valbara, but he's also like described as the chosen one, and he's
starborn or whatever.
He's a starborn chosen one thing. And so Prince Adius was like to Bryce, what blinds an oracle, and giving us all these clues. And it's a recurring sentence, and I wish I'd figured it out earlier, but I...
And the little part where Bryce remembers an event with Danica where they were in a fight and she used a power.
Yeah, and she like told Danica like close her eyes.
Close her eyes, yeah.
She let her star power rip into the enemies. Because we find out that Danica was like, it was like an illegal animal thing. I forget now.
Yeah, something like that.
Illegal animal like export, and like it was part of an assignment. Because she's obviously in her pack of devils would patrol Crescent City, and they're like the police or militia of the town. So that was part of an assignment, and they got into some trouble, and then Bryce pretty much saves her life. So it is a safe. So I'm just annoyed that I didn't figure out that Bryce had starborn powers.
Look, neither did I. There's lots in this book that I was really surprised by, to be honest. I also I know we've spoken about this before, but I'll just sit and read and enjoy a book. I won't go through it and be like, oh, this must be a hint to this must be a hint to that.
Same. I kind of look at each book like in its own entity. I don't...
Because I also feel like, if I go out trying to look for connections between the books, then I feel like I'll make connections that aren't really there.
Yeah, for sure. Unless it's very obvious as well. Also, throughout this entire process, the Autumn King has set Rune with a task of trying to find Luna's Horn because it's an ancient Fae artifact and he needs it for his own ego. But it is also said that the horn can only be used by a starborn power, so like calls to like type of thing. Only Rune or starborn should be able to find it.
Also discovered that Danica was guarding the temple where it's stored on the night that it went missing.
See, I knew that was suspicious.
Yeah.
I'm like, Danica, come on. And then the blackout happened, and then she, as we learn. So back to Adius real quick. Gives us a bit of a lore drop on Bryce, and I think that's the last time we see him from the book, for this book. Very interesting fella, Prince of the Pit, Prince of Hell. He has several rules several couple of layers of hell. So Hunt was very taken aback with Bryce's connections. At some point they have a meeting with Philip Briggs himself, because they suspected it was his doing for killing Danica and the pack for putting him away in jail, but it turns out that didn't do it, or none of his cronies were able to do it as well. And then there was just back to the Luna's Temple thing. Like in the book, so pretty much Hunt, Bryce, and Rune, and then Rune's friends, Tristan and Declan, they all kind of become the solid group in order to investigate everything. But almost everything, everywhere they all went or they investigated, there was always another murder at that location.
Yes.
So they couldn't really catch a break trying to find connections everywhere. An acolyte was murdered, and just Crystallos demons attacked and all that type of stuff. The White Raven Club, which is where Bryson and all that would party, that had a bit of an attack or a terrorist attack.
A terrorist got bombed.
Yeah. And then that's what prompted the Philip Briggs meeting, I guess. They also met with the Oracle themselves, the illustrious Oracle that we hear so much about. And it's a Sphinx, which is interesting. And that whole spiel gave us a huge lore drop on the horn itself. It's to open the doorway between worlds. It could reopen the Northern Rift. Closes, opens doors. And that the horn can be repaired because there were 2 broken pieces at the temple. And... well, at this point, Hunt went to the Oracle himself because everyone else was too chicken. And we learned that his first name is Orion, which is so cool. And he is the Lord of Lightning. There's a bit of extra fun lore drops on Hunt. And Rune's Oracle was all about how he interpreted it as he's going to be the last of his bloodline. So interesting to see what that means. Is he going to die? Is he just not going to have kids? What are the other options that could possibly be?
What does this mean?
And then there was a point where Bryce and Hunt had to sit down and had a chat because Bryce was, I think this was even earlier on, so she could kind of go step by step, like Danica's last week.
Yeah. Hunt is also the person who informs Bryce that Micah was the angel that she saved, and Micah's an archangel. So, and that was the angel she saved the night of Danica's murders. So that, like, freaks her out a little bit.
Yeah, and I was also suspicious at that point, because why would he be there so close to the site? Like,
without having anyone guarding him.
Yeah, exactly. So I was suspicious from the get-go. I enjoyed that. And then at some point, Bryce realizes, her oracle experience. So yeah, we have and it turns out all the people that they meet, Danica knew or has had a conversation.
Yes, has happened to have intertwining with.
Yeah, so Tertius Maximus or Maximus Tertius, whichever way it is, I don't remember, the vampire that pretty much triggered this entire series of events. She knew him briefly, and Philip Briggs, she had a conversation with him, knew him briefly, and this gives us the idea that Danica must have been like a human sympathizer, because the humans are kind of like the low level of the hierarchy, as we established. Danica had encountered him a couple of times, giving him extra chances in order to like stop his bombings and all that type of stuff, and obviously he didn't do that, so she had to bring him in. And then interesting, as Hunt talks to him and everything, Briggs says to him, we'll bring the bastards down someday, brother, because of Hunt and his rebellious nature back in the day. He feels like he could relate to Briggs and that he isn't a great person because
he's also like, led a rebellion.
Yeah, and it feels more like a terrorist type vibe, like you're not doing anything for the greater good, and that really brings him down, which is so sad, because and then it leads on to Hunt lore that he was tortured for like 7 years, which is really fucking shit. Like the way he was tortured, like he didn't see sunlight for so long and just like brutalized.
Move on a little bit, sorry, because there's so much plot. I just want to get to important things. It's like they find out all that information about synth and how like it makes people go a little bit crazy, and like they were doing tests on it and stuff. But then Bryce is informed that there is a deal going down, and she goes to spy on said deal, and lo and behold, it is Hunt and his friends.
33rd
this
Legion
truly rocked my world.
Yeah, I was like,
and that the horn had nothing to do with that, really.
yeah, it was quite the betrayal, wasn't it?
So Hunt is essentially tortured a bit. One of his friend is killed. Another one is ripped from her body and dropped in the bottom of an ocean. And Hunt is sold back to Sandriel,
who's the biggest asshole that he never wants to be part of, but also as much of a betrayal because he wanted to be out of it. He wanted to back out, but he was too far gone. This was all just to prove if the Viper Queen, it was also because the synth enhances veneer abilities, so they would have liked to have reignited said rebellion. Of course, fell flat.
So Sandriel is escorting Hunt out of wherever they're keeping him or whatever, and Bryce offers to buy him with an amulet that's worth 3 million gold marks. Sandriel refuses and melts the amulet, which I forget the significance of this.
It stops the demon from seeing her, from scenting her. Oh, this was at the summit.
Nearly the summit. And then Sandriel refuses, melts the amulet. Bryce offers herself in his place. Sandriel announces that as she's the Autumn King's daughter, the offer isn't as bad as onlookers might assume. And Rune steps in and claims her as his kin. Yeah, as his kin. And is like, no.
I'm getting so confused now between Sky and Breath
the books,
this.
yeah.
Oh my god. I'm like, I don't remember any of this, but yeah. I thought it was...
Anyway, so now, like, everyone knows that she's the Autumn King's daughter. She's, like, princess of Autumn, blah, 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 blah. And then the summit starts.
Yep, the punishment for Hunt was to have his wings cut off, which was excruciating, but they grow back, so that's fine. Did you ever get suspicious of, like, Micah or anything?
I wasn't suspicious of him, but I was just like, for an angel, you're a shit guy.
Yeah, that's fair. For a governor, you're a shit guy.
Yeah, which leads us into the big reveal that Micah is essentially a big bad. So the summit has arrived. Bryce is at her work. That we haven't really mentioned that much, but it's...
Yeah, the summit is a few days, and like the first day, like everyone congregates, like Sandriel and her posse. Her posse includes Pollux the Hind and somebody else, I forget, the Harpy, I guess, maybe. But that basically talks politics throughout. Sandriel's trying to be all high and mighty about the war that's happening overseas. There's still very much human rebellion against the Asteri. Also, just quickly, Hunt also recruits the help of his mer friend, Tharion, who lives in the Blue Court in the river. So, like, he pretty much helped figure out the whole synth situation. But yeah, so he's also at the summit.
I love Tharion.
In this book, I love Tharion.
Yeah.
The next book, not so much. Not so much. But of course, we'll get into that in the next book. I love his flirty, charming nature. Like, it's just a bit of fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, because it's such dark times for these characters, and it's such a sensitive investigation. And, like, he brings a bit of humor and a bit of charm and a bit of flair.
Yeah.
While we're just talking about the group real quickly, there always has to be one tech whiz, and it has to be Declan.
Yeah.
The nerd tech who's able to hack into everything. You love it.
Yeah.
Alright, it's the summit.
So we're at the summit. Things are doing their summit things. I was like, this is boring. Bryce is at her work when Micah arrives. Having made his excuses at the summit and bypassed the shop security system, Bryce covertly texts her boss, who immediately uploads a live camera feed to the conference screen. So everyone is watching the interaction between Micah and Bryce, too far away to do anything but send an auxiliary unit that will take, I think they said, like 35 minutes to get there or something.
I just want to say, I'm glad this wasn't like a surprise camera thing, because
they'd already mentioned, that there was cameras.
Yeah, Jezebel has this place down pat. Also, and Leobar is there, and she's a fire sprite, and she's also fantastic in this book. She brings such good relief and comedy and like just sincerity, and I love her so much.
Rip in pieces. Micah reveals he's known about Jezebel's archives for a long time, as in fact the mythical library of Pathos. The books date from before the arrival of the Vanir and the Asteri on Midgard, challenging their right to rule. Owning them is an executable offence.
So it's a very legal library that Jezebel has.
Yes. Micah reveals to Bryce that she is the horn, that when Danica stole it, she ground it to dust, mixed it with witch ink, and had it tattooed on Bryce's back. Its shape does not change its power.
Did you figure out the horn was tattooed on her back?
Yeah, I think at some point when she mentioned the tattoo or something, and like Danica was with her, I was like, oh, that's sus, like something is going on. I didn't know it was a horn, but I was like, Danica's done something to her, or I thought it was like going to be in her jacket or something, because Bryce wears Danica's jacket, like.
Yeah, or it could have been like grounded into the sword or something, or Danica's
and then
sword.
because it was saying that she left, the sword and the jacket at Bryce's work for those 2 years, and then it, like when Bryce finally gets them or whatever, I was like, oh shit.
Being that the horn was in two pieces, I thought like Danica had like the other half tattooed to her, so I thought that the horn would like never work.
Yeah,
so
unless they were together.
I was weirdly surprised that like because that would have been much easier. Like if Danica knew she was going to like die for all her sleuthing, like I would have like made it even more difficult for it to even be used.
Yeah.
Anyway, so pretty much this interaction, this is the last good chunky bit of the book, and like it's just the whole lore drop, all the intent.
Once again, it is the last 100 pages of the book.
Of course.
Thank you, Sarah. Micah hopes that by injecting Bryce with the synth, he will heal the horn, and alongside a blast of his own magic, give it the power it requires to activate.
At the time when he blasted her, seemingly did nothing. Yeah. So, but of course later on we reveal that he opened up all the fucking gates.
All the gates.
In the Crescent City, and hell breaks loose.
Yeah, Micah plans to use the horn to summon an army from another world to decimate the rebel human army before war can spread to Valbara's shores.
And so there's a bit of a bit of a scuffle in the library. Jezebel has like a knock creature in a tank, and that becomes important. Oh yes, Syrinx, the cat thing.
Oh yeah,
I don't even know what species it is anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a tussle. Leoba is in there as well, and so Micah and Bryce are fighting, and this is all again being live streamed to the summit, so everyone's just like in shock what to do, which I know the closest auxiliary would take 30 minutes, but like no one really made a move to like get a wriggle on. And so Micah, they're fighting. Micah throws Syrinx into the knock tank, and Bryce decides to save her pet because it is important to her. And then this becomes like Bryce's ordeal, which is a weird term. Like I never really understood it, because like there's the drop and there's the ordeal.
Yeah, so I think the ordeal is just like you've got to like hit your bottom to like activate your power, and then the drop
Okay.
is like coming into your power, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah, fair enough.
So Bryce locks Micah in the bathroom. Bryce, while he's locked away, Bryce enters the knock tank, and despite being attacked by the beast, manages to escape with an unconscious Syrinx. She resuscitates him and tries to carry him to safety, but struggles to walk with the new damage to her leg.
And then Leoba, the MVP of the
Mike
entire
is
book.
almost free, and knowing they'll never get out, Leobar stays behind, smashing the knock tank and sacrificing herself so Bryce and Syrinx can escape.
I am not afraid. My friends are behind me. I will protect them. Leoba, fucking hell, that was so sad. I was tearing up because she is such a cool thing, and like I didn't expect her to die, but. But yeah, it's also, like, I'm Not Afraid is a very common Sarah J. Maas piece of dialogue as well. It's very recurring in all her book series, so it's nice. It's a little ode to everyone that's ever sacrificed themselves ever.
My friends are with me and I'm not afraid.
Yeah. Bryce is hobbling away because she
shoots Micah. She kills Micah. Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah, she kills him with the Godslayer's rifle, which
kills
is like
an archangel.
Yeah. At this point, conversely... Well, she also has Danica's sword as well. But conversely, in this moment, back at the summit, earlier in the book, Hunt and Hypaxia would have a sneaky convo being like, are you able to free me from my slavery? I need to correct myself. I said tattoo on his wrist, although he does have one.
He does have a tattoo, but he has a halo tattoo on his forehead.
So while this is all happening, Hypaxia is doing a...
Because the halo tattoo, kind of puts a damper on his power.
So Hypaxia's like, I'm going to free you. And so she frees Hunt, and he goes straight for Sandriel, and he kills her. Mm-hmm. He just beats the living shit out of her, or kills her with his lightning. I forget how he does it. But yeah, and all hell is breaking loose at the summit.
Because keep in mind as well, everyone has just watched Bryce kill Micah.
And again, the Archangels, they are the second to the Asteri. So like, they're very high-powered big boys. And so it is very much a threat to the Asteri's rule when that happens. And then, of course, Fury ends up being there, and she has a fucking helicopter to send them to wherever she is.
Because Bryce goes outside expecting to be arrested, but realises that the Horn has opened a portal in all 7 of the city gates.
Yes,
and demons are pouring through and laying waste to everyone.
Yeah. This is very interesting as well, because like you learn a bit of the politics of each of the species of Veneer. Like the wolves would do fuck all. They only cared about themselves. The Fae only cared about themselves.
I don't think Bryce kills Sandriel.
No, Bryce doesn't.
Not Bryce, Hunt. No, but because Hunt and the others try to leave for the city, but Mike has disabled or destroyed all means of transport. Sandriel then tells them the Asteri have ordered them all to stay.
No, but he does kill her. Yeah, he does.
Okay, well, not right then.
But he does kill her. And yeah, back to the politics real quick. Like, yeah, the Fae are every man for themselves. The wolves are for themselves, essentially. And it's just very interesting that no one gives a shit about the humans except for, like, human sympathizers and Bryce. So I understand you're trying to get a wriggle on, Kinsey. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
So everyone at the summit is like, someone fucking help her. We need our arsenal. We need to help everybody. But of course they're holding back. Although as Bryce is killing demons and trying to make sure the humans get to like their bunkers and safety, Ethan and his pack of wolves, which is pretty much Sabine's wolves, they end up helping. The Viper Queen, the unsung hero we didn't know we need, she sent some of her people to help defend the humans and everything, which is great. And then at this point, Hunt and all that are on the way, and Bryce decides she's going to try and close the gates.
But first, the Asterian guard arrives, drops a brimstone missile on the city.
Yeah, brimstone missiles are just like big fuck off weapons of artillery.
Hunt swoops in at the last moment and protects her body with his own, but Bryce wakes from unconsciousness to find that Hunt is near death.
Yep, Hunt is dying, and Sarah J. Maas loves having the lovers have a bout of dying.
Bryce, she goes to the gate, uses its crystal to try to speak to other people, begging for anyone to come and act as her anchor for when she makes the drop. So the drop is, just like tunneling, like in Throne of Glass, you're tunneling into your power, but you need an anchor because your body essentially dies and is reborn during the drop. So you need an anchor to bring you back.
And she's always wanted to do it with Danica, but of course Danica's dead, but like she's trying, because like it turns out that like the gate holds like lost souls and all that type of stuff as well. So she's trying to call upon Danica's soul.
Yeah.
See, this part, it was kind of hard to visualize because I don't know if it's just me, but when I read a very tense part or very action, I read really fast, trying to match the tension of what's going on. So like that leads me to like skim and perhaps skip a few details.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also in general, it was just very hard to visualize this as well. But that could have just been me.
She also, no one comes to her aid except she hears Danica's voice coming from the bone quarter saying she'll anchor her. Makes her drop, and everyone back at the conference centre of the summit is watching, knowing a dead person can't act as an anchor. But Bryce's power doesn't stop where they expect it to, continuing on until she's past even the Autumn King's level.
Yeah, because with their technology, they're able to keep track of like the levels and how far and how powerful they are. So Bryce is breaking records.
Yeah.
And even throughout the whole book, there's this common theme of Bryce, make the drop. You got to make the drop, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
And of course she has to do it in the last moment.
Recognising that she's giving her life for the city, the gate is giving her all the power it's collected in tiny donations from millions over the millennia.
And also this is the part where it's like, light it up, Danica.
Yeah, light it up. Yeah. Because then, she only has, once you like hit the bottom, you only have 6 minutes to get back up to the top or something?
Yeah, something like that. And she did it with like 1 second to spare, or like 5 seconds to spare, because of course. And so she pretty much closes the gate, but she emits a very bright light, her starborn power as well, because obviously just coming out of the drop kills a shit ton of demons. Does she go gate to gate, or is it just like this one gate and then boom?
I think it's one gate and then the power goes through the ley lines.
Bryce saves the day, but all that power is taken out of her. She's oh no, that was as when she was trying to get back to the drop, out of the drop. Like Hunter's giving her chest compressions and he's trying to keep her alive as well because he has managed to regain some sense of consciousness. Which also, friendly reminder, do your first aid courses and CPR courses. So yeah, I guess, and then she just pretty much saves the day. Easy peasy, all in a day's work. Towards the end, they get a visit from one of the Asteri Regulus.
Regulus, yes.
And as a reward, Hunt is free, like his
slavery tattoo is removed.
And although there is that light-hearted threat, like, don't use your powers against us.
They're forgiven for Micah and Sandril's murders, but told to stay silent about what really happened and from now on to use their powers with discretion and never use the horn. It's essentially like, thanks, but we're watching you.
Yeah, exactly. Very Big Brother style. And then there's, like, the epilogue, where it's about Jezebel and Adius. I always have to say Adis first to correct
It's Adis. It is Adis.
Adis.
Because it's A-I-D-A-S.
I write it as A-D-I-A-S. Oh well. So yeah, the epilogue got me a little bit excited for the second book, but now that I've read the second book,
I know, now that we've read it, we're like, what?
It's not as important. But yeah, pretty much Adis explains to Jezebel that everything is coming into play. I guess something big is coming.
Yeah, and he knew about Bryce from the start.
Also, I forgot to mention while we were talking about the Micah and Bryce, about the illegal library, there were books that we are very familiar with. The Book of Breathings.
And The Walking Dead!
The Walking Dead, yep. And I wonder where we know them from.
Multiverse confirmed, question mark?
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, very interesting how Jezebel acquired these books. I think Adis got them for her. If it's alluded that he is playing a bigger part in this, he is definitely influencing.
Because is it in...
But yeah, so that was a fun little tidbit of information, which makes me wonder the timeline of these books. When is this happening?
This is happening simultaneous to Silver Flames.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, because then End of Throne of Glass is also simultaneous with Silver Flames. Not quite.
No, Kingdom of Ash is just before during Silver Flames. So they're happening I think they're all happening simultaneneously.
Yeah.
Nope, I lied. So, sorry, Kingdom of Ash, Silver Flames are happening simultaneously, and then this is happening after Silver Flames.
I'm even more confused. Oh well, it doesn't matter.
Where's the whiteboard?
Yeah, where's the whiteboard chick from Tik Tok? The spatula girl. But yeah, so much. Yeah, I know we pretty much just like harbored on through them all, but like it's just so much, and we just want to any particular points you want to talk about, or?
The second one really brings it more. This is just, again, like an introduction into the world, what's happening, and then the second one brings it into everything that's happening.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and I was also going to say before that, like, this book also emits the themes of, like, the older generation of the Veneer are, like, stuck in their ways. So, like, they are just, like, bowing at the Asteri's feet. But then the younger generation, like Bryce, Hunt, like, everybody, like, have, like, the opposing views and the rebellion views. And it's just, and, like, humans, you know, are against the slavery and that the humans are beneath them. And, like, it's just the changing of the guard of old and new ideas. So it's very, that's also very interesting. Perhaps we should talk a little bit more about Hunt and Bryce's relationship, because I feel like we've skimmed a lot of that. But ultimately, they're cute as fuck. I enjoyed the natural, organic falling in love.
Oh, yeah, I have written down as well, because we always talk about, like, the first love interest curse in Sarah J. Maas's book. But technically, this is what I feel like. So Connor, even though he's dead, rip, because Bryce agreed to go on a date with him and she did like him, I think that he was technically the first love interest. So seeing as Hunter is the second love interest, technically, and hopefully he's safe.
Yeah, I think Hunt would be safe in that department. Yeah, they're very cute together. They fell in love quite organically, which is nice. But again, like that bodyguard savior to lovers thing is really good.
Yeah. And I just like they had really good banter. It just felt really natural and organic the way.
Yeah.
Like they weren't like it wasn't kind of like forced. I feel like it was he fell first but she fell harder kind of vibes.
Yeah. Because he is obviously still traumatized and ripped apart from like his past love as well, so. And it's just they had cute domestic moments as well, like in the apartment, because it got to a point where he had to kind of live there for the benefit of the investigation and everything. So, yeah, like cooking breakfast for each other, dinner, takeout, you know, watching Sunball and all that type of stuff. And Bryce, you know, just like checking him out and all that type of stuff as well.
Yeah.
Just like the sexual tension
and
too.
Her cleaning him in the shower.
Was it this one or the last one?
But yeah, because he had to do a kill for Micah. He wouldn't have had to do a kill for Micah in the second one.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cleaning in the shower. I think that's where we also learn about Hunt's like past a bit more as well.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. That's right. And like, because he's working for Bryce, he's working with Bryce. He feels like he's doing some good, and then Micah's there to reel him back in and be like, "No, you are the assassin. You are the Umbra Mortis under my control." And like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Jesus Christ. That was so good though. She was so gentle and patient with him, and like he was just so. See, Sarah's really good at making.
I love that shit.
Tragic backstories. Fucking hell, I love it, and just so much sexual tension too.
Yeah, I love it. So
they really wanted a bone.
I love a good slow burn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is the definition of slow burn. Yeah, for sure. Even
Gets me going.
Also, quick question: what do you think Sunball is?
I imagined it as like a lacrosse-y sort of thing.
Lacrosse or even soccer, because although not maybe not quite soccer, but like they're supernatural beings. They all have fucking super speed. So like I reckon for soccer they'd have a lot more shots on goal. But same with lacrosse in a way.
Yeah, I think it's like I imagined it as a lacrosse sort of thing.
Yeah, I never realized that lacrosse was actually such a physical sport either. Like I looked it up once. I remember in PE in primary school and like high school. PE. Like not properly, but it was just like throwing the ball to a partner. Yeah, I wonder if Australia has like a competitive lacrosse. I want to talk about Leoba real quick, and also Leoba's interaction with Hunt is like flirty and cute and charming. The way she just talks is just, I love it. She's so cute. Rest in peace, though.
Yeah, I'm usually not like a huge fan of like characters being introduced just to be killed off,
right?
Sort of thing. But I think it is a noble sacrifice.
It really is.
I'll allow it.
You'll allow it.
Yes,
because Sarah has to have your permission exclusively.
She does.
Oh, and Juniper, we forgot. Haven't mentioned her at all, but like, yeah. Best friend and ballet dancer and all that.
Again, like, I really like the book. It is a fantastic book, but I think sometimes you can have too many characters, and I felt like sometimes I was getting lost in the, but wait, how is this person connected, and who's this again, and blah, blah, blah. Like, I think I'm a huge fan of Keep It Simple Stupid. Yeah, and then especially because it is probably going to be one of those 5-book series again, like she loves to do, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever. So it's like, you have time, Sarah. You have time to give us these characters. Like, you have time to flesh them out.
So yeah, we have House of Earth and Blood, which is this one. Then we have House of Sky and Breath, and then House of Many Waters, and then House of Flame and Shadow. Is she going to be doing them simultaneously? Like, will House of Many Waters be the next book? But like House of
And then
Many...
also, yeah, because Crescent City 3 is coming before Akatar.
Yeah.
6.
I don't know. I'm just having mental gymnastics here. But then again, House of Many Waters doesn't sound as cool as House of blah 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 and blah.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it's just House of Many Waters. Maybe it's gonna be a filler book. It'll be
Maybe a little novella.
It'll be a Tharion novella.
Yes! I'm not reading it. Immediately no.
Bad idea. That'd be cool though.
It'll be the Tower of Dawn for the Crescent City series.
No. Hey, I actually like Tharion though. Or in this book, but we'll find out what he does in the second book.
Yeah.
I also love how Rune isn't like jealous of like Bryce and her power, because now they kind of share the...
Well, I think that's what, like, he
title.
didn't want to be burdened with it. Like, he didn't want that. He just wants to be a young adult and have fun. So now he's kind of like, oh shit, like now she's my kin. Like,
Yeah, and she has
can share the responsibility.
He has full control over what she does and all that type of stuff, because the Fae hierarchy in that sense is bullshit.
Yeah.
Also, how cute, real quick, are the otters, the otter messengers?
Oh yes,
They're the
they're so
cutest,
cute.
cutest fucking things ever. Oh yeah, and of course there were interactions with like Danica's mum Sabine. She's pretty much just a little antagonist of the series. She's just a bitch.
I feel, again, like, it's an 800-page book. There is a lot going on. There's a lot, like, I think you could have cut out several B plots and still had a really good book.
Oh yeah, quickly looking through my notes, I just realised that the reason why Hunt got his wings cut was because Amelia, or the Ravenscroft wolf...
Emily?
Yeah, because she was bullying Bryce, and Hunt, like, threatened them, and so he got his wings cut off as punishment. I think this is when, I think they do have a bit of a make-out on the couch, because his wings are hurt.
Yeah. Told
So
you!
You're right, sorry. And yeah, Sabine's after Danica's sword. And also, it ended up being, like, Danica worked for this company that ended up distributing synth. And then it all came about that Micah knew of Danica and, like, kind of led her to all these things. And he ended up killing her anyway, because she knew too much information.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, and there was an instance where the Autumn King goes to the gallery for something in regards to Bryce. So that was a fun father-daughter fuck you moment.
Yeah.
Bryce and Fury talk, because Fury doesn't play much of a role in this book until the end, where they kind of need her, because she's just disappeared. And I don't really understand Fury. Like, everyone's afraid of her. She's like an assassin, but like, people, I think, are more scared of her than Hunt, who is the Umbra Mortis himself.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't even know what's going on in that department. And yeah, Hypaxia. I'm just happy that I figured out that she was the Medwitch with no name, because that's suspicious.
Any character, with no name is either going to be very important or very irrelevant.
I think we've gone through a lot. We've talked about a lot.
I'm proud of it.
For a second recording, I think we've done quite well. I do miss our first recording, though, because I thought we were so on fucking point, and I was so happy. Although it took an hour and a half, and this one's a little less. This one's a little less than that, so which is good. But yeah, final thoughts, feelings?
Again, a good introductory book. Well, the world building is good, but the first few chapters are horrendous. That's fine. And then, I just think, like, you could have gotten rid of a couple of B plots. But apart from that, I really enjoyed it. It got me in the feels, as it always does, and I'm excited to see where the series goes.
Do you hope Danica's involvement stays dead?
Yes.
Let's hope. Yeah, I pretty much agree. Yeah, big book. Last 100 pages are just insane. And I think it sets up well for the second book, although I feel like there's not much that could be done. So it's like a starting fresh for the second book as well.
Yeah, but I like books like that where you get, like, a restart on plot. Like, you can take it wherever you want to go.
Like, it's not like a drag on from the second one.
Yeah.
Alrighty, that's it from us, I think.
Yeah, thanks for listening, as always.
Yep, check us out on the socials. We've got, Insta, Letterboxbookclub, TikTok, Letterboxbookclub. YouTube, Letterboxd Book Club, Spotify, Letterboxd Book Club. Yeah, find us somewhere. I'm sure you'll be able to find us anywhere.
We are everywhere.
We try our best out here.
Yes.
Catch you next time. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.